Just want to do a little bit of a follow-up on the sheet mulching technique and what you can do at this point now that spring is supposed to be showing up. Right? You can see how much the material, that's great, thanks, how much the material has really compressed over the winter, right? And you can see that if we had had more material, we could have even gone higher and it would have compressed right down. So
can I do the racing?
Before we go over here, because this is the one we're going to actually use as a demonstration, I just want to look at this one for 1 second. And I'll use a little tool, something with a cutting edge is nice. I like this one. This is called a hori hori. It's just my favorite gardening tool, but and
really well.
yes, it does. It digs.
Hori.
Scares people. Yes.
Scares us.
Removes digits inadvertently.
Gardening menopause.
So what I'm doing is I'm just going to open up the mulch, and there's our paper layer, right? That's the weed block layer from last fall. And if I were to plant right into this, and Sweetie, I'm going to need you to stand back just a little bit so people can see. I'm going to use this to just open up, cut open a little spot, and look inside, and reach right in. And I can see that at the bottom of this, it's all starting to get nice and wormy.
Yeah, I saw big fat ones in there.
Yes.
Exhibit A.
So it's getting nice and broken down, so that's good. And if we had had a wetter winter, you know, it's been quite a dry season actually, unseasonably dry. And if we had had more snow, this would be even further broken down, right? The one we looked at over there that was in a similar state to this was even further broken down. I'm not sure if it was due to it being more moist, but you can see that the worms find this stuff. You know, the seaweed is virtually gone. It's completely broken down. So this is in the process of turning to soil. And this has all the soil life, both the microbial stuff, as well as those invertebrates and arthropods, all those good guys that you want in a healthy soil. So the fact that it's not broken down completely into soil isn't the end of the world, because what we do in this case is we just take, and I won't do this one because this belongs to somebody else probably, but I would just, if this were my planting hole and I wanted to put in, you know, a seedling or plant some seeds right here, I would just take, I would use, you could just take some compost and fill in that hole, you know, and plant right into that, just like that. That's all you need to do.
You don't need to turn it around in the hole, the compost. The compost can just be on the top and leave the bottom as it is.
Yeah, I'm filling in the bottom. I would set the seedling right on top of that, and I would take a little bit more and fill around it and kind of tamp it down and then water it in, and we'll actually do that right over here.
What if you're doing seeds and you're scattering seeds?
That's
like
the next one. The next thing you do. And then just to finish this, I would say bring this in, leave it, you know, you could still leave it open a little bit, right? So you don't need to bring the mulch right up to the stem of your seedling if you don't want to. If you have seeds and you want to do like a furrow or something like that, and I won't cut it, we'll do it behind me, but I would open up whatever the furrow shape is that you want, and I would use either a box cutter or your hori hori type thing and just slice your furrow, open up the paper, pull it back just enough, and you could fill it with some compost if you needed to, and plant right into it, and water it in, and water it in. It's the benefit of doing that and making sure that all of your planting medium is still mostly under the paper is that the paper is your most important ally in suppressing weeds, right? So even though we have this beautiful compost, you know, I don't know what conditions under which that was produced and if it killed all the weed seeds. Compost can have a lot of weed seeds in it, and I know that I, for one, have brought a lot of interesting plants into my property by bringing in compost, which doesn't mean it isn't good stuff. It's good stuff, but I like to not weed. Just my preference, call me crazy. But so let's actually do an example behind me.